Hello everybody and welcome into this speed gaming presentation of the Link to the Past Randomizer Open League Playoffs. This is the conference semifinal round, a matchup between the number 2 and number 3 seeds overall, Underachievers the 2 seed, featuring GFE and P-Train, and Ed was supposed to carry us, the 3rd seed, featuring Norsk Maddie and W Garrison tonight. I am MindDM, and I'm joined on the call tonight by Blue Link. Blue Link, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. We are down to 8 teams now. We're going to start seeing some matchups between the best of the best, and I'm excited to see how this one turns out.
Yep, Game 1 co-op entrance, the choice of the higher seed. Underachievers picked this one. And we are off and underway. Maddie is pulling a bow out of Blind's hideout there. It looks like Garrison is over in the sank start kind of position after checking Uncle. GFE buying some bombs. We'll see where he's going to head off to. This is entrance shuffle, so while you talk about where you're starting, it only does so much because, well, it can be a lot of places. You walk into an entrance, you're not entirely sure what you're going to get. Sank, for instance, at the Eastern Ferry Cave, the so-called useless ferry here, and P-Train is going to happily houlihan for some cash money. You want to talk a little about Veterans Blue Link as opposed to some other forms of entrance shuffle?
Oh yeah, so not only do we have the fun of regular entrance shuffle and cross-world entrance shuffle at that, in addition, we also have some fun things that are made to make this mode resemble Zelda 1 in a few ways. First of all, small keys are universal. They can be used anywhere in any dungeon. You can also find shops where you can buy them for 100 rupees each. So rupees will be a little more important than usual. For a second reason, the bow doesn't actually have arrows. You have to pay rupees to shoot your arrows. It's 10 rupees for a regular arrow, 50 rupees for a silver arrow, and of course you have to buy the ability to shoot arrows from a shop.
Yeah, cash, it's something of a premium here, and it looks like P-Train has the Tier 1 tree pole as red rupees, so maybe going to be a little less of a problem than it might be under other circumstances. Garrison going for some laser skips here. He ate the laser to the face the first time, gets it this time. And P-Train's got a hook shot here. I'm not sure what entrance he's in at the moment, but he'll walk right back out and we'll find out.
That was a real hype cave. We got a flute as well as that hookshot. And GFE finding a Cane of Samaria here in Spec Rock Cave.
GFE finding a bit of a useless connector there. That was... in fact, I don't think you can get to that side logically. I assume that he bomb jumped that.
Yes, he did. So that is one less mirror check to make when we finally get the mirror. P-Train finding the hammer in the well here. All right, Garrison collecting some more rupees. He's up to 422 there.
It's nice, but they disappear awfully fast when you have to pay off Zora.
Hopefully we won't have to do that.
Maddie with that lamp is going to go ahead and rescue the old man, has found the front of the old man rescue here.
GFE is bunny walking around in the mire area right now, having found a connector. He found Mini Moldorm Cave, so that is definitely somewhere to revisit when we get the chance. And Saha informing us Misery Mire is our green pendant today. And he's also hanging onto a glove for us. That's nice.
Yeah, glove's not too shabby a thing to have in the early going.
Okay, the bottle vendor doing a better scam than usual.
For certain values of better scam, I would assume.
We have found our first bottle here in Ice Rod Cave, which was in Kakariko. It came with a good B, which Garrison is immediately selling for a refund on that scam purchase.
Yeah, it's tough to argue with that, and then he finds a slightly relocated bomb farm. That's normally down in the southwest corner of the village, but it's at the Chicken Hut entrance today.
Alright, so we've got our runners in 4 different places right now. Some of them are revisiting checks we've already seen. The flippers are there in the back of the tavern. And Norskmatti has found the back of Skullwoods. He's gonna get this one check here and probably leave.
Did you happen to catch what he walked into to find that? I expect everybody else is going to walk into it eventually, but...
He was up on the mountain, so probably Speck Rock or one of the drop-downs nearby.
It looks like he's walking back out, so he intends to continue on, and we'll find out exactly where this was.
P-Train getting that last laser skip and getting some good money as a reward.
And Garrison finds that cane of Samaria that GFE had landed on a couple of minutes back. The early part of this really does go fast and furious, especially when you don't have any real consolidation of the runners. They're all just going to their own places and doing their own things. Sooner or later, they'll land on things that others have already done. But yeah, by and large, it can take a little while for the beginning of co-op veterans to settle down.
Yeah, especially when you found as many items as we have so far. We are lacking Dark World access, but there's plenty we can do.
Kind of funny that Saha's in one side of the Elder's hut today.
Well, GFE is going to be the first to get the hammer and glove combo, but still no Moon Pearl in sight. Speaking of which, W. Garrison has found it in Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, I did not catch which side of this he accessed it from, but he's going to come out the only side that you're allowed to. So, oh, alright, it's just in the village. That's pretty free.
Well, GFE and P-Train have just swapped positions. Makes sense.
And that flute will give GFE really easy access to the mountain if that's what he wants to do, but it looks like we're going to work on the village for a little while longer.
Well, nice free red mail as well in the village.
Nicer in this mode than a lot of others, if only because you can get into situations where you're not getting a lot of hearts necessarily. Now, it can make death warping a little more time-consuming in the early game, but the return of that is if you get into the late game and you've still only got 7 or 8 hearts, now you've got the red mail and you feel a whole lot better about your position in the world.
Oh, that's for sure. And one of the funny things about GFE's Geno sprite here is that the colors cycle, interestingly, starting on blue with green male, then becoming red, and now turning around to green. GFE has found Blind's house, but appears not to have any bombs. Never mind.
I think P-Train may have been in there already, which would explain why GFE was not concerning himself with the bombable wall.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was also reading that 08 as an 00, which changes things.
Yeah, easy enough to do. So, Garrison here has put the entirety of the Dark World Access puzzle together, but he's definitely going to go ahead and do the very hype cave first.
Oh, absolutely.
Seeing P-Train also go for selling that good bee to the bottle vendor. Again, money kind of at a premium in this mode if you've got an easy source of it, like pulling a bottle with a good bee right next door to the bottle vendor. It's a pretty easy choice. We're going to get an early fake powder check.
This is cool. I guess 20 rupees is worth the time. And the peace of mind.
Given that he was already out of magic, I feel like it kind of worked out for him. Now GFE knows that he never has to make the check.
Yeah, having to empty your magic bar using the lamp or Samaria is not very efficient.
The lamp isn't an awful way to do that. You don't really want to have to do that with Samaria, though. GFE not entirely certain where he wants to flute to. Eventually he chooses 3.
Alright, well P-Train's about to find the Moon Pearl for his team.
Going to even a lot back up here for the Underachievers. Yeah, especially given that Ed was supposed to carry us, has not taken any real advantage of that Pearl yet.
Yeah, and they do not yet know about Mini Moldorm Cave, I don't think.
That flute making getting to Blind's hideout really easy for the players who had not previously checked it.
So, we're already loaded, like 15 minutes into this seed.
The one thing that hasn't really been forthcoming to this point has been the big keys. You're still going to need those to complete most dungeons, and it is a 7 crystal goal, so to defeat Ganon, you're going to have to get to that 7 crystal mark eventually, and right now we've gotten some good item direction, but the key direction has been sorely lacking.
You know, I had almost forgotten that this was Key Sanity, actually, seeing as we've not seen a single big key yet.
Maddie found the dam. I'm not sure if anybody else had seen this yet. It's entirely possible the answer to that is yes, and I just missed it.
Oh, we found the bomb shop, but is Matty... Yes, he's gonna go back. Eastern and Pod are our 5-6 crystals today.
A bit of an interesting set. Of course, we've already got the hammer and the bow, so it's just big keys that we're missing in that regard. GFE's found Castle Tower, and again, it's key sanity, so as long as you've got the keys to support it, you can come in here and pull the items out.
Well,
Doesn't look like he really found anything of interest, though.
Well, here's Hookshot Cave for Matty, and he's found the boots.
I expect we'll get a fairly quick audible from Garrison as far as what he wants to do next, once that information changes hands. Interesting. Have we seen the other side of Hookshot Cave? Because I'm mildly surprised that Matty didn't decide to go ahead and see where that went.
I do not recall seeing the other side. Well, here is Paradox Cave.
Because you need more options, here they are.
GFE going ahead and stealing the small key from the back of Desert. That's totally reasonable to do in retro mode.
Yeah, you found it. Go ahead and have the key now. They're all very fungible.
Well, that wasn't very exciting. One key, some rupees, and it seems like somebody had picked up Ether. Looks like P-Train did.
It is nice that these guards do their vanilla half a heart of damage even when you're on red mail. P-Train going to take advantage of that and go back to the front of the castle, probably check the connectors now.
Well, digging game, pay 80 rupees, one dig, and you get, I think that was 50 back.
At least it doesn't really scam you of your time that badly, I suppose.
And I mean, if you voluntarily want to keep digging for more money, that's on you.
It's not necessarily a terrible idea, given that I don't think we've seen any other really interesting rupee farms yet, but there are better ones out there.
Alright, Dark Cross here is silvers.
Silvers are reasonably expensive in this mode, but you certainly don't mind having them. They'll speed up Phase 4 of the pig as long as you've got the cash money to support it.
Yep, nothing worse than going out of your way to get the silvers, only to find out you don't have the money to shoot them. So this is interesting. We have both of the Underachievers still running around in the light world, while Ed was supposed to carry us are both in the dark world right now.
Yeah, trying to push that advantage of the Moon Pearl, it took them a while to do so. In fact, Underachievers had gotten that and kind of sort of negated that advantage to a certain extent, but then Ed was supposed to carry us are the ones who decided to go ahead and start making Dark World checks. Speaking of making Dark World checks, hello, Garrison has found probably at the Dark Fortune Teller north of the village, the Swamp Palace.
Yeah, and P-Train found Ice Palace just around the same time. I think that was at the Light World swamp entrance.
Seems to also be finding a lot of the key shops. I assume this is Maddie heading for the area affectionately referred to as Dark Shopping Mall for reasons absolutely unknown. I have been informed that there is not actually a shop there in Vanilla.
That is puzzling. Is there a shop there in the light world?
No, that's where Ice Rod Cave, Fake Ice Rod Cave, and 20 Rupee Rock are in the light world.
Fascinating.
I'm sure there's a reason, I just don't know what it is.
Garrison taking a moment there with that crystal switch. The fighter's sword is not long enough to hit the crystal switch through the wall.
And your other options are something like throw a bomb at it. Nobody has a boomerang yet, so that's off the table. Garrison currently doesn't have any magic in his magic bar, so using some Mario is not an option, and using Samaria is not going to be an option here. Going to have to go with the bomb strat for the diver down. Now, GF Dark.
Well, that's the bottom of Spiral Cave. Oh, our first big key is the Thieves Town big key for P-Train.
Alright, if you have to clear the Thieves Town for a crystal, you're going to require that big key. That is not one of the dungeons with a skippable. Looks
Now,
like Maddie has pulled a second sword, I think from the right side of Desert.
He found the cave with the sword. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It was
He
nearby
found the
here.
Takemi sword. Got it.
I believe chat mentioned someone did a map check and saw that Thieves Town was a pendant at some point. Looks like P-Train's gonna bite the bullet and hand over all his wealth to King Zora. There is a big key there on the ledge.
All of a sudden, big keys are actually appearing.
I mean, realistically, for items, we could really just need Fire and Ice Rod and the Mirror, and then maybe another medallion. But we're gonna need a lot of big keys.
Well, we may not really need the medallions unless something is in the entrances that they unlock, because they're not necessarily the dungeons in question.
That is certainly true.
Theoretically, we could get away without any at all.
Pod Big, we're going to need that.
Alright, we know that we need that one for sure.
You know, I'm a little interested in the fact that neither of the Underachievers have gone back to Mini Moldorm Cave yet.
That was something that, GFE looped to in the Dark World before they had found the Pearl?
Yes, I don't remember how inconvenient that connector may have been, though.
P-Train taking the long, slow walk through Spiral Cave. I think he, in fact, was the one who has seen where the other end of this is, so this is just for the item, I'm pretty sure.
Well, here's a shovel for Maddie. And we're going to get our first boss fight of this race. Well,
Garrison
Tower of
taking
Hera.
advantage of the red mail a little bit.
Tower of Hera was somewhere on the east side of Death Mountain, and Quake was in the basement there.
Yeah, this was not in the two-side entrance to Paradox, but it was in whatever's to the left of that. But I'm not sure what that is in vanilla at all. Maddie seems to be having some trouble getting his jump there. He may have ancilled himself by picking up the drop from the mini Moldorm. And here they are, GFE has gone back to Mini Moldorm Cave. Speaking of Mini Moldorms, let's see if there's anything interesting in here.
Well, he'll be hard-pressed to find something more interesting than that mirror that Garrison just got off of Argus.
That's going to make accessing a lot of the mountain substantially easier for Ed was supposed to carry us. And there's that connector into the Dark World at the Hammer Peg Locked House. So GFE is going to get the boots here for Underachievers.
Yep, that's something they need to find to start making up some ground here. Alright, and that's Norse Mattie's first crystal off of Moldorm. So GFE is going to check the connector here in Hookshot Cave.
I'll admit to a certain amount of curiosity because I don't think that we've seen this yet. Oh, alright. No, I don't think we'd seen that side of it because Matty came out on the Light World side of that. And definitely does not have that mirror from Argus yet.
So that, I guess, is fortunate for all the not mirror havers, that they're not missing out on an important entrance, at least. Okay, Skull Woods has the big key to Eastern Palace. We need that as well.
Yeah, it's another solid find. It seems like the seed is starting to point in the general vicinity of those bow dungeons. Now, stop me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think any of our runners have seen them yet. They just know where some keys are.
That is correct, as far as I know. Also, the map to Skull Woods was in Skull Woods, and it appears to be a crystal dungeon as well. So I think we know 5 of our crystals now. And Matty is being the responsible teammate and checking Hera basement before he leaves. Oh, that's interesting. So GFE just found the big key to Hera, which will be nice before going to Hera, and also the Fire Rod, which now makes Skullwoods logically completable.
Yeah, certainly a nice find. The Tower of Hera big key is maybe even the more dangerous one of those two. There's only so far you're going to get without a Fire Rod most of the time.
Oh, so GFE found Swamp, but he hasn't drained the dam yet. P-Train has, I think. And of course, they don't know that their mirror is in there.
And as with a lot of items, the possibility does exist that you get away without it.
Okay, apparently P-Train did not pull the dam. He's doing that now. It must have been both of Ed was supposed to carry us who did it.
Yeah, I think Matty found it first and pulled it, and then when Garrison was sweeping by that area, he went ahead and got it as well. But GFE is going to check this Fire Rod locked entrance at the back of Skull Woods.
Oh, it's Meyer. Green Pendant Meyer.
Kind of an irritating location to get back to, but the game's already given you fire, you've got universal small keys. So really what you can't do here are the big key locked locations, unless the big key's just hiding out in here, which it does sometimes.
Well, P-Train is going into Swamp. This is good news for the Underachievers. Garrison about to get his Fire Rod and Hera big key.
I wonder if in his mind that's going to become a let me go ahead and grab the Hera Crystal, and that way I can find out whether or not Maddie needs to go running back there for something. Since
Yeah,
getting
that's a good
dungeons
point.
done really is the name of the game at some point, and it depends on how you feel as a team in a lot of respects as far as where are we in the game at the moment. Like, Maddie knows I just have to rush the boss here and get this mirror. Mirror is going to open up some movement for me. It may even be required. Let's go ahead and get this crystal. The Garrison case is less clear-cut, where I have this big key, my partner was unable to check that location, and that dungeon is at least mildly out of the way. Yeah, speaking of doing the responsible thing, P-Train going to go ahead and do left side swamp here.
Also, GFE checking the cutscene chest in Mire. It was just a map to Eastern, but we already had that knowledge. P-Train remembering he didn't bomb the crystal switch here before continuing on his way.
A strangely fortuitous failure of the diver down trick the first time. He popped out of the water in the wrong position, and then he had the thought, wait a minute, something else is wrong here, and he had a really good opportunity to go back and fix it. Was that a compass to Eastern? Did we have the map and the compass to Eastern in Pendant Mire?
Apparently. Alright, Catfish. Just has a piece of heart for us.
GFE setting up the death warp there and then going to the bottle really quick to make sure that he didn't have a fairy, because that's a lot more time than you want to spend. Stepping back off the spikes for a second is a lot faster.
Yeah, I was concerned he was about to drink the potion for some reason. So Garrison is not missing out by not having Zora money here, but he's going to go pick up this big key.
And he is going to backtrack and probably do the spiral cave check.
Yep. And he's going to come out on the mountain, which should be useful for him. Also, he has the boots, so this is much more fun to watch.
The end result is still, unfortunately, not really anything that you're going to write home about, aside from to say to your partner, don't go here.
Right, a small key on race game.
And GFE is over in the pod area. See if anything new and exciting comes out here.
Right, P-Train has taken care of Argus, and he will be getting his mirror. And his first crystal. Right, we're getting our shovel check here. And it's the powder.
Which I believe Garrison was the runner on Ed was supposed to carry us who did the fake powder. So all that is
Yes.
a nice safety for Maddie.
Yes, both teams have done fake powder. Although I don't recall if anyone turned in the mushroom yet. We haven't seen the potion shop. But on the way to Catfish, I don't remember who it was. I don't know if they stopped in the light world to hand over the mushroom. Alright, Garrison is now into Hera. He does have the big key.
And GFE discovers that Quarreling Brothers lets out at the checkerboard cave entrance, which is not really all that helpful right now.
It's just a small key in the Hera big chest. Now, unless I missed something, I think Matty may have forgotten he doesn't actually have the book when he went to check the Bombos tablet.
That can be one of the dangers of playing co-op. Just because my team knows where the item is does not necessarily mean that I have it.
And speaking of the book, Ped is dead thanks to P-Train checking it. Or rather, we know that thanks to P-Train checking it. P-Train did not kill Ped.
Ah, but maybe he should have.
Alright, GFE's here to pull the dam, and he will probably get to Swamp and get his mirror. Maddie finding Ether in the front of Escape. He's going to continue all the way down.
And GFE is going to run in and collect his mirror, as one might suspect.
Oh, Garrison doing a double take there, and he's going to go get the first few items in TR here. The Skullwoods big key, another fetch quest key.
Yep, not a required one unless there is something hiding behind it. Thankfully, Skullwoods, the front of it, doesn't really get to move around all that much, so you know generally where you need to go to turn that one in. Looks like Maddie's about to land on Silvers here.
Right, Garrison outwits the Chomps for 20 rupees. So unless I missed it again, I don't know if P-Train turned in the mushroom earlier, or if he just forgot.
I'm not sure, but Maddie has finally found the potion shop that we were talking about. Now, he's one of the runners without the mushroom, so he hadn't had the opportunity to turn that in anyway.
And also, that's a really rude location. Mimic Cave entrance.
It's not all that bad to get to in this circumstance, since the Hyrule Castle entrance is pretty close to Flute 7.
Okay, so GT is at Agonim's Tower there. Oh, here's Eastern as well. This is full clearable.
Have to imagine we're just going to get the full clear here. You've got everything for it, you've already got the boots, it's not going to get better.
And GFE has obtained his mirror and his first crystal.
Interesting how the majority, the 2/3 of Hyrule Castle, were just up there on Dark Death Mountain. There was the right of Turtle Rock Bridge for Hyrule Castle Main, and then Hyrule Castle West was at the Laser Bridge exit.
Well, that's certainly fun. Okay, GFE does recognize that cave and decides it's not required. Alright, so we have Maddie here to go kill Mothula.
It's not a bad idea. You know that it's a crystal dungeon that you have to complete anyway, and that fire rod makes it all nice and logical.
This is actually a little bit funny. GFE has that mirror, so he's now able to get into Paradox Cave from the bottom, because apparently neither of them found any of the other entrances. Nicely done there by Matty, and he's going to get the mitts. And crystal number 3.
Mitts is not an... Again, you say this about a lot of items in this mode, but Mitts is another one of those items that you don't necessarily have to have.
Yep, there are only a couple of things that it hard locks, the Ice Palace entrance being one of them.
And that only unless you wind up in a situation where you have a connector that just pops you out that entrance. Which is true of basically all of the Mitts-locked entrances. Now, we've seen a good number of our connectors already, and we haven't come out of any of those obvious locations yet, I don't believe. So, in this case, it probably is going to lead to potential new checks eventually. Garrison is also going to use the mirror to get up on top of the castle here.
Oh, but he's checking the right entrance first, and this is... Oh my goodness! You have to appreciate the symmetry here.
I know I do. So, in the Dark World, you want to bring the big bomb here and check an entrance? Well, both of your red crystal dungeons are just up there on top of the castle in the Light World.
Right, so P-Train is out of Eastern, Garrison is in. He's thinking, yeah, he's going to go ahead and clear this. Right, P-Train is going to do pod, it looks like. Makes sense. Our tracker's informing us that Ice Palace is crystal number 6. Not actually number 6, but our 6th known crystal.
And Maddie's going to go ahead and try and push this Mitts advantage by heading to the Mire area. And GFE is going deeper into the front of Turtle Rock than I think either of Ed was Scarius had gotten around to.
Yes. I don't know if he came from the front door or if he entered somewhere in the middle. Must have been somewhere in the middle, because he's heading backwards to go through chain shops here.
Using that red boomerang to great effect there. And I think Maddie's about to discover a connector here at Desert North, because I'm pretty sure Underachievers had... Yep, alright. It's the other side of Bumper.
Alright, Norsk Maddie going to be the first to give us a look at this Mire entrance. Thieves Town. It's penned in Thieves Town, and we know Ped is dead, but there could be something required in here nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It feels like it's easy enough to get back to. Maybe you just check the front four as a relatively quick kind of thing. I don't think Maddie has picked up that Thieves Big yet.
That appears to be the case.
So that may be all he gets to do anyway. It might be one of those things where he just kind of puts a pin in it on the map and says, Garrison, once you run out of things to do there on top of the castle, maybe you want to come over here?
Oh, GFE finds Spike Cave and stares at it longingly. He has no invincibility items, and only 7 hearts.
The last time he cycled through his bottles, I think he has 2 blues, so technically he could get through there if he really wanted to, but that is a rather expensive proposition.
Oh, definitely. Also, Pod being Palace of Compasses today. There have been 3 so far.
Looks like GFE has seen all that he really wanted to in the eastern area proper. Going to go ahead and have a quick look at the Loot 5 spot, and that is not anything at all. The duck is really getting a workout in this seed. You get the flute, you get the mirror, you have some regularized Dark World access. It's really easy to get around.
Okay, GFE now returning to Ice Palace. He also knows this is a crystal. Right, here's Helma for P-Train.
A fairly safe fight on Tin Heart's red mail. The fireballs will bully you around a little bit if you let them, but it's not going to be too bad.
Alright, Helma down. Just a piece of heart, and crystal number 3 for P-Train. So maybe now we will get to see our first look at the inside of GT. Okay, there is a big key in the Ice Palace big key chest. It's for Turtle Rock.
Garrison was not having the easiest go of that stair state extension with the Samaria block there. I think the Hard Hat Beetles managed to eat his block the first time, and, well, once that happens, then the room's not so great.
Okay, another fetch quest big key here in Ice Palace. That's the one for Swamp.
And that's a little more unfortunate, because all of the runners have cleared that already, so someone's going to have to make a special trip.
P-Train having some fun and games here in Tile Room.
Living dangerously using the hook shot to clear the tiles.
That's just disappointing. Alright, here's Iced Tea from GFE. I guess we can't complain about those 5 rupees, given that there were 2 1 or 300 packs already. Okay, that was the map to TR. That could be very important information. And the big key to GT in GT.
Alright, that's a place for that. This is the part where I stop and admit that I have no idea what is at that pyramid drop.
Have we seen Ganon yet?
I'm not entirely sure that we have. The thing is, these teams are going to be keeping better track of this than I am. If it's a required climb for Ganon, I'm going to assume that once P-Train finishes the basement here, that he's just going to go ahead and do it while he's here.
Wow, all the big keys here. So Meyer as well. GFE has killed 1 Puff with his Fire Rod. Was that the big key to Desert too?
That was the big key to Desert.
Nice hammer strats there, and got them all very nicely done.
Ooh, Maddie lets everybody get away.
He's fine though. He doesn't. I was about to say he hasn't taken damage, but 1 hit, it's fine.
Yeah, again, with red mail, it's not the most dangerous thing in the world.
And that's 2 Puffs down, and 3. Well done. Right, Bombos there in the Fire Snake room for P-Train. Maddie's picking up crystal number 4. Garrison fighting Helma. He'll be about to get his number 4. Oh look, the big key to Ice Palace in GT and the Ice Rod. My goodness.
Apparently just go to GT and get literally all the things.
Are there any big keys we haven't seen yet? I think that's every big key.
I think that's the lot of them. Remember how back here at the maybe 30-minute mark we were saying we hadn't seen any of those at all yet? 20 or 30 minutes in, well, now we have every single one. And I think we've probably just straight up hit item go mode here. We may just be in find any entrance that you still need and go beat the game.
That's actually a very good point. I was wondering why P-Train would have mirrored out instead of getting those last checks in the basement. But they haven't found Hera yet. So they also don't have the mitts. It could just be likely they think they're in go mode. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to ask them in the interview.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where they just know where everything is and don't have to worry about it. Now, finding another sword would be nice, but you figure you'll probably find something like that along the way.
Speaking of swords, GFE finally picking up his Master Sword. Right, GFE zooming over to the pyramid to mirror and get to his required dungeons.
Yeah, it's certainly looking interesting. Everybody is once again going to be congregating in basically the same place at exactly the same time. The top of the castle just has too much going on.
Somehow I missed it, but Maddie was already in Eastern and is almost done, in fact.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. If you don't have to open anything in here, you can get through this dungeon reasonably quickly. And it's certainly looking like Garrison's going to have all of the knowledge out of the basement by the time Maddie gets done with Pod. So I'm expecting that Maddie's just going to follow him on in here and get all of the things, and that's exactly what GFE's going to be doing behind P-Train as well. So hold on to it, folks, because we're going to have a rush to the finish here is what this is looking like.
And as it stands, Ed was supposed to carry us a little bit ahead on dungeons. In particular, they have finished Hera, and they actually know where Hera is.
It seems a little surprising to me that Underachievers wouldn't know where that is. It's just up on Light Mountain, and I feel like they've been up in the general vicinity at least a time or two, right?
Yeah. In fact, GFE was just up there when he mirrored. Garrison's leaving GT. Oh no.
He cleared the entirety of the basement, right? Oh, he's leaving without the ice rod. That's a problem.
Is he intending to... No, wait, what's he doing? No, he's going back in.
I think Maddie's told him to just go back.
Yeah, probably remembering that they need to climb. Yeah, because Ganon must be... Well, we'll know for sure if P-Train continues after opening this chest.
And he's continuing after opening that chest.
So chat was telling us, based on a map check, that Turtle Rock is our third pendant, so that Ice Rod is actually not required. And that could actually be very important information for Garrison and his teammates. See, Ed was supposed to carry us.
Yes, it's very important information to me right now. Because sooner or later I'm going to have to play in this series.
You know, I completely forgot that you were on their team. Well, Aga 2 has been defeated by P-Train. So, getting to save that time by not going left side, or further on the left side of GT at least, and being up a couple dungeon clears, looks like Ed was supposed to carry us has a non-trivial lead at this point. And it looks like those mitts were actually completely not required as well.
Yeah, it's a thing that can happen in this mode. Now, that was a crystal dungeon, so it's not like you're going to dodge them the entire time, but it is something that Underachievers is just not going to have to do a mitts check, unless they really want to for some reason.
Garrison really getting bullied by these Landmollas.
Yeah, Hammerland Molas is not the nicest thing in the world. This is one of those fights where you say, you know, I'd really like to have another sword or some kind of a convenient magic extension so that I can just use the fire rod. Something?
Oh, P-Train still had that good B. Never got rid of it.
Doesn't seem to have really cost him money-wise. 600 rupees is really enough to get the job done at this point.
Yep, more than enough money for silver arrows to shoot at Ganon. And this is crystal number 6 for Matty. Now, of course, he does need to go into GT to get the desert big key. So he's... I would probably finish the climb there if I were him, but I'm also not an expert.
I would be stunned if he doesn't.
Now, did P-Train do a map check and tell GFE that he doesn't need the ice rod? I don't remember if we saw that or not.
Well, we'll find out depending on what GFE decides is worth checking in here.
I could be completely mistaken, but I don't think this is the right way to go. Okay, Bombo's tablet was just 10 bombs.
You can call that Bombos adjacent. There was actually a League game last year that turned on a misidentification of the pedestal text, and both runners thought that it was Bombos.
Oh yes, that was a legendary race.
That involved the previous incarnation of Ed Was Supposed to Carry Us, then called the Kabuki Hundo Activist Department, aka Chad, and also, kind of humorously enough, the runner who was replaced from that team, CJ. Not because there was any falling out, I hasten to add. It was more he got really busy with life stuff, and so Garrison and Maddie said, hey, we're looking for a teammate.
To answer chat, silvers were in the front of Escape. No, they were in Dark Cross.
Yeah, specifically Dark Cross.
Close enough.
It's the front half of the escape sequence. You can kind of group those 4 checks, and then the back of escape being the 3 plus sank.
Oh dear. So GFE is going all the way to Ice Armos, so there must have been either a miscommunication or a lack of critical information somewhere here.
And Garrison's now up on the mountain for something. This was back of Skull Woods. Okay. Yep. Makes a lot of sense to go here now.
Yeah, he's just got this, and then ice, and then desert. That's actually 3 dungeons. Matty is, like, ahead a couple dungeons, interestingly.
Matty has a habit of doing that, and I'm not sure how he does it so consistently. He just happens to be the one who winds up doing the dungeon clears, while he convinces Garrison and I to go do all of the terrible overworld checks that don't actually have progression.
Alright, so GFE found the desert big that he needs, and now he's going for the climb. P-Train has found Hera, so at least the Underachievers know they're in go mode. But they are a little more behind than they would like to be, I think.
And that may have been what the additional checks were about. They might have been thinking that Hera, which they hadn't gotten to yet, was in fact mitts locked, and so there were some checks happening to try and find the mitts.
I'm just still slightly puzzled by the decision for P-Train to have left when he was almost at Ice Armos, but again, we'll have to ask them. Right, that is crystal number 6 for... no, 5. That's 5, it's already highlighted. 5 crystals for Garrison. P-Train was about to beat Muldorm, but he gets taken down.
Oh, in fact, he gets put in the center hole. That is a very unkind worm, and that P-Train, as an NMG runner of no little skill, owner of a 126X, I believe, is probably very unfortunately familiar with the way that Muldorm can just cause you problems.
I think the total number of floors he's fallen due to Muldorms is now 3 in this seed.
That's what Muldorms do. They turn circles and they knock adventurers into pits.
Yeah, they're not particularly dangerous, they're just annoying. Alright, that's Muldorm down for P-Train. There, Garrison having a much better time with land modes 1, not having to bother conserving his magic.
Muldorm wins again. This time it's Matty dropping a floor.
Very interesting. That's a lot of Muldorm falls for 1 seed.
I feel like in Rando a lot of the time you just get to this boss with the Tempered Sword, or maybe even the Butter Sword, and maybe you just go ahead and you cape up and you just make the fight not a problem, because sometimes that fight really likes to be a problem.
Alright, so Garrison is into his final crystal dungeon. And here's Aga 2 for Matty.
P-Train's moving really nicely room to room in the back of Desert here. Also, I totally missed where Underachievers found half magic, but both of them have it.
That was in Rando Room with the Ice Rod.
Ah, okay. So, well, you don't get that if you have Go mode beforehand, I suppose.
perfectly done, Lamos. One for P-Train. This is going to be his crystal number 5.
Garrison not having the cleanest icebreaker in the world here. But now he's got it. P-Train's up on the mountain. This is where Skull is, and, well, he did Desert Palace North, so yeah, now he's going to pick up Skull.
Yeah, he's going to be thankful those mitts weren't required a while ago. You know, Garrison might actually be the first of the crystals.
Yeah, he and Maddie are going to be reasonably close. I think the question is going to be, with the known silvers location and without another sword on the table, is Garrison going to stop off and pick those silvers up?
He does have 3 bottles, but without half magic... Then again, is that a... I can't read his hundreds digit of his rupees. Is that a 2?
I think so.
Well, P-Train has just got crystal number 6. Garrison's into the cold stare fight. Okay, no, that's a 9. He's got plenty of money.
Yeah, he has plenty of money if he wants to go get silvers. He'll have a good time with Ganon at that point.
And cold stare down for Garrison. Norsk Matty coming in right behind. Oh, not quite. That would have been glorious.
He's got a little more work to do, but he's got the money to spend these silvers. Now, at some point, he's going to have to stop missing this worm, though. There he is.
Alright, 7 crystals for both Ed was supposed to carry us runners. And they're going to be heading right back to the pyramid.
And Garrison is going to stop off for these silver arrows because this is the Hyrule Castle entrance under Imrock. Garrison had literally never touched Hyrule Castle this seed, just because of the locations of it.
Yeah, this makes sense. I mean, Tempered Sword didn't show up, you just don't want to do 24 spins.
Yeah, the first several phases are bad enough. You'd like to at least make phase 4 relatively straightforward.
Well, so if this holds up, Matty will be the first to finish as he drops into the Ganon fight.
Yeah, it's starting to look like P-Train is very much hot on Ed's heels, though. And GFE is the one who's still got a lot of cleanup to do.
Yeah, all things considered, this is going to end up being fairly close.
It's not entirely surprising in the realm of co-op. You tend to get into a lot of situations where, at the end of the day, it all kind of comes out in the wash because one team does things the other team didn't do, and as long as it doesn't lead to too gigantic an advantage, then the one team will just have done some unnecessary checks, and the other team will have done different unnecessary checks.
Right, Maddie's surviving phase 2 very nicely. And on to the easy part now. Garrison dropping in to fight Ganon as P-Train picks up crystal number 7.
I'm not sure what's in Garrison's bottles, but with nobody found the cape, and Maddie is the Ed member who has the blue cane, there's only so much safety to be had here. Now, you do have the red mail, you do have the 16 hearts, your health is a resource you can use, but eventually you kind of hope not to have to.
Oh no!
Oh, and Maddie taking the Ganon fall.
That's fine. They've got plenty of time.
That's one of those things where you and I know that, and all the people out in Chatland know it. But yeah, in the moment, that's not what you're thinking as Rudder. It's, I may have just cost us the game, and now I have to start this fight over with the Master Sword.
Yep. Even last round, there was one match where Ganonfall ended up flipping the result. Well, this is Moldorm down for GFE. He's going to get crystal number 7. P-Train is into the Ganon fight. This is exciting.
Yeah, P-Train going for those Samaria block strats. That's a nice way to get doubles with the Master Sword here. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but he's making it look relatively straightforward. There's a lot of toying around with directional inputs to make sure that you stay on that Samaria block.
Alright, Garrison's into phase 3. Matty's on 1 heart, needs to be careful. Does he actually not have a bottle?
I don't think Matty ever... Did he?
No, Lanmo's dropped a bottle with a fairy.
Oh, alright, so he's just trying to preserve his bottle fairy. Got it.
Alright, P-Train has pulled ahead of... no, he hasn't. Never mind. Alright, Garrison on to phase 4, and P-Train working his way through phase 3.
I don't know that that's the way I would have done that if I were Garrison, but okay, and hopefully you were right about that fairy, because, yep, there's Maddie taking the fall. P-Train's going to line up a nice double here, it looks like. 1, 2... Oh, he needed a triple to finish it off, though, so Garrison is going to get done slightly before P-Train.
Oh, wow, this is going to be 1 and 2 real quick. Or close, but quick. You know what I mean.
Maddie looking for one more spin to get into phase 4, and GFE running to the pyramid.
So, our first 2 runners finish with the respective times of 1 hour, 18 minutes and 39 seconds, and 1 hour, 18 and 42 seconds. For just a 3-second difference. But, as long as nothing goes wrong here for Matty, this should be pretty much a done deal. And that's Ganon down for Norsk Matty. Let's get our GGs in chat for him and for Ed was supposed to carry us.
Yeah, he's going to leave a full tile's worth of leeway there, not going to risk another drop off of this platform, just waiting for that bridge to extend, and there it is.
And he'll finish with an official time of 1 hour, 19 minutes and 35 seconds. GFE is going to finish this one out.
Meanwhile, we're joined by everybody else, Maddie, Garrison, and P-Train. Good game, gentlemen.
GG's.
GG's.
Maddie, you tried to make that a little more exciting than it needed to be there.
Yeah, that was a very poor decision on my part to shoot that fire rod shot from that position and get the torch glitch, because that's where Ganon wanted to go. So, yeah. I didn't feel good about that one, but, you know, in the end it was okay.
Now, P-Train, let's go to you for a second. You were the first one of the runners on either team to get into Ganon's tower. How did you feel finding the mother lode?
I mean, it felt good, but it also felt bad, because, like, when we were in the tower, like, I started finding all of these items. I don't think anything was in Eastern or Pod. But then you go to GT, and it's like, there's everything. and we just kind of pieced together. We're like, holy cow! Like, I think we're in go mode. Like, provided we didn't know where Hera was, but you know, item-wise, key-wise, we were in go mode. So it felt really bad. And then when we found Hera, we're like, oh my gosh! Like, you could finish the seed so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just unfortunately just didn't work out for us. I felt like my execution was on point. We didn't find the things we needed to find soon enough.
Well, GFE has defeated Ganon, and he's crossing the bridge with an official time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 24 seconds. GG to him, that was a valiant effort.
P-Trade, did you and GFE spend a long time, like after the beginning felt like it had a lot of items right away, but then
I
was,
found
like,
all of them.
Did you?
Like,
Okay.
I think
Garrison
GFE found Canis Samaria.
Garrison found almost all of them, and because a lot of them were in Kakariko, but after that, like, it gets to the dark, and I felt like I just went and checked a whole bunch of entrances and got like nothing for it for a good like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, I think GFE found the bottle and Canis Samaria. Oh, by the way, welcome GFE.
Hello.
But yeah, I think GFE found a bottle, Canis Samaria, and boots.
I found the fire rod, man.
Oh yeah, and the fire rod. You know,
Maybe a big key or two.
yeah.
We were a bit more mixed than that. Maddie was the one who found the flute. I had to go grab the flute and go pick up stuff like bow and stuff like that. But
GG is GFE.
Hey,
GG's.
thanks, GG's, guys. Yep, like, P-Train was the one who found all the multi-item caves that were actually useful, and I was the one that went for the multi-item caves that were complete trash.
Paradox, Mini Moldorm.
Yeah, that was my role. Was the trash item caves.
Well, no,
I
you
don't-
did all of the multi-item caves. My
Yeah.
role was I went to the top of Hyrule Castle and I lived there for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, that was P-Train. Except that we didn't know where Hera was.
I mean, there were
Uh-oh.
so many places to go, right? Like, we actually like found Hera very early, but
I mean, you should, in theory, find Hera very early, but I was like, I'm gonna check these Dark World entrances because I hate them. Because we can
Yeah.
just flute back up here and use hookshot, but I never got around to it.
yeah.
We also were super thorough with like everything in the light world, except for the EP area.
Yeah.
Just because that's how we got burned in our first series in Restaurants. So I personally didn't want to get burned that way again. So it actually took us a while to start deep diving into the Dark World.
hmm
I assume, did y'all clear Meyer without the big key? Like, did you get all the items in there?
We never
I
found
didn't-
Meyer.
We didn't
Oh,
find
okay.
Meyer.
I
Great.
don't know where it was.
Back of Skull. I had
Oh,
Fire Rod
yeah, that
before
was
I
one of
did Skull, so...
That was one of the like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 entrances we never opened.
Yeah, when Maddie found boots, I went right there, and Maddie routed south, I routed north. So I just jumped into Skull Woods. I didn't have the fire rod. I was like, but well, if we need to get back there, we need to get back there.
Also,
Later.
Maddie,
I guess.
just
Go
out of
ahead.
curiosity, do you remember where you found Ether? Because I don't.
Oh, it was in Hyrule Castle.
I
Okay,
was
I thought
right.
so,
I was
yeah.
right. I told
We were
P-Train the
having-
last time you didn't tell me it was Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, we were having tracker issues where like we couldn't clear things off of our shared tracker.
Oh yeah, I have that problem
And
too
that-
with it.
Yeah, and that happened like right at Hyrule Castle. So I told GF because he mentioned the Hyrule Castle. I was like, "You're probably right," because that was like right where, like, I realized I couldn't clear things off the tracker and was just kind of getting annoyed with it.
Did you go and use that ether at the Meyer entrance?
Actually, no, we never did.
Okay, that's where Thieves Town was. I got the front four, but I didn't have the big key, so I wasn't able to finish it, which turned out to be fine.
I had the big key, but I didn't have the ether. So we're like, we're not going. But like I just ended up on the freaking castle after that, and once we were there, there was everything.
Yeah, that was everything.
hmm
If you know where Hera is.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is such a weird seat. Like every one of our practice seats have just been this atrocious slog of nonsense, and that is not this seed was the jettest thing I've
Yeah,
played.
and, like, I'll be honest, like, our first series in the playoffs was a ridiculous jet seed, and this was a ridiculous jet seed. And I am a completionist by nature. I am not a person who reads and does jet seeds because I don't normally get them. And so, like that, the fact that this was another one was just as really worked against my personal gameplay style. I don't know about P-Train.
Yeah, I mean, like going back, like I don't really see anything major that like I would have done different on my end. You know, like I felt like we were always doing things. I agree with the mire dip when you found it. You know, like
Yeah,
there's no
it's an
way you
awful
leave
place.
mire there.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, I
we
mean,
had-
maybe go into the dark world earlier, like be more aggressive with that. But I mean, we did that last seed and got burnt for it. So you
Yeah.
know, like looking back, I don't know that I would have changed anything. It just cards didn't fall in our favor this time.
I feel like this is the most volatile mode out of the co-op choices. And like, we went into this like maybe we could hope to steal one because we did not feel good going into this at all. But Retrance is one of those things that if the rando gods decide they favor you, that's just what it is.
Hey, read our team name, man. It's just how it is. It's tradition. Oh,
Ugh.
at least Ganon tried
I-
to make it look close.
Ganon definitely did that. Yeah.
Ganon
Last
was like the only part of the seed I felt went right.
last year we were
Definitely not
one.
Moldorm right now.
Last year we were one game out from Invitational. We were Game 5 co-op veterans, and last year that seed went disastrous for us. That's why Farm Friends ended up getting the invite. But it's so nerve-wracking going back in, being very close to that invite again, and being like, now we have to play co-op veterans again. Yay!
Against a team that's previously been an invitational for a few years. Yeah, that
It's
seems like a.
terrifying.
that
Well, I mean,
seems like a strong
last year
contender.
we had like a prodigious strike of bad luck. And,
What do you mean last year?
and it
Every
seems like
year?
we're still riding that wave out. So yeah,
It happens. That's what makes League tough too. League only comes around once a year, and you get a couple of bad seeds, and you're just stuck.
Not even bad seeds. Like, I mean, this is a good seed, but you just play it wrong or one wrong choice. Like
That's what I mean, though. When I say bad outcomes.
Yeah. I mean, I won't say we didn't have mistakes here and there, for sure.
oh yeah, like if you watch it back, I took a fall to Moldorm and then I got middle hold.
Yep.
So,
And you'll watch
and I
back,
fell to Moldorm too.
and you'll see me rush Rando room in GT because like P-Train, there were so many big keys there, and he couldn't remember which one. So I was like, "Hey man, I just need the desert big. Like, where's that one?" And he thought it was Rando room, which at least I got my half magic. You know, that's nice. But I had to go back around to DM after, which I was gonna check for mitts anyway because of the Hera situation. But
Oh yeah, we did want to ask P-Train, when you mirrored out of the GT basement before going to Ice Armos, were you just counting on it being go mode there and hoping you'd find Hera without needing the mitts?
To be honest, we thought we were in go mode, and I think I was like in mimics when GFE was like, "Do we know where Hera is?" And I was like, "No." So and then that was stressful because it's like, you know, how deep do you go looking for mitts? Like after Ice, I did the Balmos tablet, you know, not sure if that would be mitts. When I was checking entrances looking for Hera, I checked the vanilla Hera entrance and I found a Gina. So I didn't know if I should do that. I didn't know if I should do Ether tablet. And GFE was in my ear. He's like, I really just think we need to do entrances right now. And that ended up being the call. So but yeah, it was just a very awkward moment, like not knowing where Hera was and not knowing how thorough you should be. You know, like, will we need mitts to find this?
yeah.
And then of
And
course
it's the
mitts were on Moth, so it didn't matter.
Same time, if I chose not to do Moth early, like it would have been really slow because I had Lamp and Fighter Sword and not a ton of health, but I had Red Mail. Which I would do Moth early, and you get the other glove there, then we're not in that situation. I guess there's a world where you could imagine maybe you need Quake for TR, which we never found. I'm just seeing you guys apparently did find Quake somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that was downstairs in Hera, like the cage part.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the cage.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
you meant
We
basement.
did Hera much earlier.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did the basement too because
I mean, that makes
found,
perfect sense.
found it so early, and it was like there's nothing else over there, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna probably come back here for a while, so I'll just do it now. Why not? Whatever. I like checking things.
Mhm. I was the poor man this seed. Most of the seed until I did Ice Palace.
Yeah, me
When
too.
you do Ice Palace, you're rich.
I never had more than like 250 rupees, I think, until I did
Yeah.
Ice Palace really late, and then I was like, oh, 300 rupees. Oh, 300 rupees. Okay, yeah.
That's one
No.
reason I put off the silvers, because I was like, I'm not going to use them. I don't have the money for them. I'll just wait, hope I find tempered, and if I find tempered, it's probably not worth my time. It'd be close, but probably not. And when it ended up coming to Master Sword Ganon, you have to go get those silvers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And make sure you have 200 rupees at least.
Yeah.
Well, I had ice as my last dungeon, so I just ran over from ice to grab the silvers.
Yeah, same. Well, no, not same. Take it back. P-Train had ices last. So I had to flute from my 3 dungeons on the mountain. Desert Scroll Hera combo there.
3 dungeons on the mountain, 3 dungeons on the castle.
That was a bit ridiculous there.
Yeah, very clustered, the dungeons.
Mhm.
I ended up doing Hera earlier because I came out at the top there from Spiral Cave, and I knew that, and I had the mirror, I knew that Hera was there, so I just cleared Hera real quick while I was there. Plus,
Yeah, that makes sense.
when Maddie went in there, he didn't have the big key.
Okay.
I hit
felt like-
Swamp really early. I was like in Swamp at like the 19-minute mark or something, full clearing it. It was weird.
I felt like it was maybe 15 minutes in between me finding GT and me finally clearing GT, because I found GT and I was like, well, let me check all this other stuff. And we found Eastern, and I was like, oh, well, I know this is a crystal. I'm going to full clear it. And then I went to the other door and I found Pod. I was like, oh, this is also a crystal, and I have the keys, so I guess I'm full clearing this too. And then finally, like, I go into GT after finding it, like, minutes ago.
Yeah, I guess that's a curiosity. Did y'all full clear all 3 of those? Or, I mean, Pod and Eastern first.
So I was the one up there. I opened the door to Pod. I'm like, oh, Pod, I'll come back to this in just a second. Let me see what the other 2 entrances are. Oh, GT. That's interesting. I'm like, inverted GT. Went over, found Eastern, like, I guess I live here. I guess this is the rest of my seed now. And then I said that kind of as a snide remark, and then it turned out to be literal. So yeah, and then I cleared Eastern, ran over to Pod, cleared that, went into GT, and I kind of went halfway from DM's room to, or I think it was like, I didn't make it to Fire Snake room. I did Fire Bar room. I didn't make it to Fire Snake room, and I thought about it, I'm like, if I check this map and TR is a pendant, we're just in go. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just mirrored out, checked the map, saw that we were in go. I'm like, oh wow, okay.
Okay, you didn't even get your ice rod. Okay, man.
No, where was Ice Rod?
Rando
Window
room
room.
with half magic and Ice Palace big key.
That's
So
funny.
Yeah.
So they're kind of. I mean, actually, my decision would have been wrong if TR was a crystal. I would have had to go back in,
yeah,
go all the way. So I would have actually gone back in, gone all the way to the rando room, pulled the ice rod, and been like, okay, now we're in go.
sometimes it works out.
So no, I had not made it to the ice rod because it's like, this ice rod could be anywhere. There's no guarantee that we're going to find it in GT. Let me just mirror out, check it, and if we're not in go, I'll go back in.
I mean, to be honest, if P-Train had found it, I don't know, a minute later, maybe 30 seconds to a minute later, I would have found Hera, because I had taken back of Old Man, and I was going to check entrances up there. And I checked, like, the top of Paradox, and P-Train's like, "Oh, here's Ice on them. We're in go." And I was like, "Oh, okay," because at that point, like I said, we didn't yet remember we needed to find Hera, and so I just ditched it when I was a drop down away from finding Hera.
Oh no.
Yeah, kind of timing. Sometimes timing does that. A little rough, but that's rando.
That's
That's
co-op.
co-op.
Right?
Co-op rando. Yeah, exactly. Same thought there.
I think that's most of Game 1 that we've covered at that point, but best of 3 set, Game 2 still to be scheduled. P-Train, you and I are going to be in that one, Garrison's going to be coming back, and you guys will be adding Sabatender.
Yes.
And I'll be sitting on the sidelines, stressed out.
Same.
A little less stress on your end, right?
Maybe. I mean,
Why don't you guys just throw? You know you want to play me in Randomizer.
I mean,
Did you see my Randomizer game? Did you see my pilot spoiler game? I tried to throw twice.
I mean, feel free to try again.
I don't know what was
there's
more.
nothing. There's nothing like your entire like league career writing on like a reading comprehension test. You know, like just feels great, man.
Can you
know.
parse a log?
I don't know what was more nerve-wracking. The hovering in the game 3 last week, or seeing P-Train finish 3 seconds after me in this seed. I crossed that finish line like, I finished, I can breathe. No, I can't.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you
I'm
what
like-
was nerve-wracking was poor Maddie.
I was refighting Ganon, and he's like,
Mhm.
"P-Train just finished." I'm like, "Hey, I just."
I'm sorry.
I want to finish
freaking
this.
out.
I want to finish this Ganon fight, please.
I mean, the last thing I heard from P-Train was, "I'm dropping into the Ganon fight," and from that point forward, it was like dead silence. And I don't have space to have my race time up, so I'm
Mhm.
like, why is he not talking to me? I guess he's letting me focus, but this really, I like, what's going on? So now I know why he wasn't talking to me.
I mean, I finished, but I did know that you were fighting Ganon, and I thought I could tell you like, oh, I was fanfare sniped by Garrison.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that would have been like the best thing for your Ganon fight.
No.
I
maybe
just freaked
you
Maddie
could.
out.
I think the only time you should have told me is like maybe when Maddie finishes, but even then I was probably like dropping into Ganon then, maybe.
Yeah,
Close.
and we're on 10-minute delay, so like I don't actually know where you're at in the fight, you know?
Yeah, true.
Like I had the restream pulled up, and
I
'cause-
don't think I said anything to you. I think I was on radio silence also.
yeah, and like the moment I finished, like I saw Garrison, I was like, oh shoot! So I pulled up the restream, and I see that Maddie was fighting Moldorm 2 with Skull, basically all the dungeons that you had to do after GT. He had already done, and he was fighting Moldorm 2, and you had just gotten done with Land Mode 2. So I kind of knew it was coming, but I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And then I
that's
saw,
fair.
then I saw Maddie first again, and I'm like, what? Maddie finished third.
Yeah. Bad things happened. I did a lot of spins on that fight.
But yeah, GG's guys. Looking forward to game 2.
For sure.
GG's. We know it's not over, so yeah, we got game 2. Maybe we'll get the pleasure of playing some Randomizer. Who knows?
Let's hope so.
I'm just glad I'm dodging Randomizer.
Yep, thank you all for putting on a great show in Game 1. We'll have to look forward to Game 2 probably coming up early next week, would be my assumption, but we'll get together in the scheduling thread. We'll figure that one out eventually. Blue Link, it's been a pleasure once again working with you. It seems
absolutely.
that co-op reference is something of your bit of fandom here.
It certainly is.
But yeah, this is I think the part where we're going to have to part ways for just a little while. Let's look at the schedule for both leagues here before we get out, though. with the Open League. We have the other side of the Crystal Conference coming up tomorrow night, starting at exactly the same time, an 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time start. The number 4 seed now, Uncle Routers, against the number 1 seed Crystal Roller Crew in, you guessed it, this mode, co-op reference. It's going to be Hitman and Orange versus Zaphakel and Armalix. And that should absolutely be a barn burner. Two teams that are really looking to punch their ticket to the Invitational League. Both very deserving, and that one should be an absolute blast. Now, over in the Invitational League, we do not have an Invitational League game on the schedule for tomorrow yet, but on Saturday, it's really a late Friday night tilt if you're far enough out on the West Coast. But Saturday at 2:10 a.m., yes, that is a 2:10 a.m. Eastern Time start. We've got Don't Forget to Track Us and To Infinity and Pagog. That's going to be co-op reference as well. I'm going to be in bed, but that should also be a complete barn burner. I hope that everybody who is even remotely entertained by this kind of thing manages to get to tune into that. Otherwise, well, that's what VODs are for. But yeah, Blue Link, go ahead and take us out of here because, well, I think we've reached the end of the things that needed to be said.
Yeah, this was a really exciting race. Thank you to our runners for putting on such a good show. Thank you to our trackers, our MVPs, for keeping all of the facts straight and making sure we understand what we're talking about, because sometimes we don't. And thank you, chat, for joining us. We hope you had a good time. And yeah, good luck to my co-commentator, my DM, in your match. But not too good luck, because I want to watch a game 3, but that's just me.
Yep, I understand. Everybody out there in chat's rooting for Game 3. I get it. But yeah, have a good night, everybody. This is Speed Gaming 2 with this Speed Gaming presentation of the Link to the Past Randomizer Open League. This is the conference semifinals of the Open League playoffs. Game 1 in the books. Game 2 coming soon. But for now, we are shutting it down. Have a good one. Come back and join us again sometime.